thank you everybody else for being here tonight. And I am glad to introduce you to my beautiful bride, Cynthia.
And this is my husband, Blaine. Oh, my wonderful husband, Blaine.
And Cynthia, you want to tell me?
And we're going to tell you a few stories about our relationship. And they're meant to be funny. So if you don't get them, we're going to help you out and show you a sign.
Wait, we can practice one more time.
Thank you, that's very helpful. We just need 1 second to get ready.
Cue the Jeopardy music. I've seen it.
This is what we look like when we first met. He had a little more hair.
And your hair was curlier.
Yes.
Curlier. And now we'd like to tell some stories about
Yes, we'd like to tell some stories.
And the first one has to do with, we'd like to share with you the story of how we first met, how I first met Cynthia. And I remember I was in a so-called gentleman's club, okay, aka strip club. And it was, I was in this club, and I was with 2 of my friends. Ironically, one's name was David, okay, and no one said it was this David, but another was Chuck.
I was 3.
3, exactly. But he was, I snuck him into the club with me, and we're seeing this beautiful redhead dance, and I'm pretty impressed. And I said, wow, it's a good-looking redhead. And so I remember David wants to impress us. He takes a $5 bill out of his wallet and wets it, puts it on the woman's right butt cheek. You know, so my friend Chuck has to, you know, he can't be embarrassed by this, so he takes out a $10 bill and he wets it, puts it on her left butt cheek. And so, what can I do? I take out my credit card, wipe it down her crack, and take out the 5 and 10. And this day, Cynthia still has the credit card. Uses it to pay for her dinner tonight. So, fast forward a bunch of years, and we were kind of in a relationship, and I'm checking, I think we can tell this group the story.
I think so.
Age appropriate.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you the first time we had a sleepover date. I'll be diplomatic about it.
With sex.
Okay. I tried to keep
It was
plain.
sex.
Okay. But anyway, so our first sleepover date, I'm glad Kimberly, your mother, wasn't here.
Yeah.
We want her to hear this story. And remember, the lights are all on. I turn off the lights.
I really wanted them on.
Yeah. I said, Cynthia, we have to turn off the lights. I don't want you to see my toes.
Why not?
Cynthia, as a kid, I had polio.
No, you don't mean polio. You mean polio.
No, babe, it was polio. As a kid, I had terribly disfigured, ugly toes. I never want you to see them, ever. You gotta keep the lights off.
But I want to see your knees. I really, really want to see your knees.
Babe, you can't see my knees because, serious, you're laughing, but it's a serious, poignant story I'm sharing. And the reason, Dave, that I didn't want her to see my knees is as a kid I had measles.
No. You don't mean measles.
No,
You mean measles.
No, it was measles. As a kid, I had terribly disfigured, ugly, scarred knees. I never want you to see my knees. No way. So things progress, you know, they're going along. After a little bit of time, I take off my boxers, and...
Don't tell me you had smallcocks, too.
Sort of a true story. Sort of. At any rate, things progress, and we get married, and I told Ted and Kimberly beforehand, we've now been married, as I say, not long enough. You know, that's how I feel about our marriage. Close the mic. And I said, you know, after we get married, why don't we go on a honeymoon, and why don't we go to Spain? And you reaction?
Yeah, I love the Odyssey of Spain.
She'd never been to Spain before. So we go to Spain, and I said, how about let's go to a bullfight? And your reaction was?
Yeah, why not?
She'd never been to a bullfight, and we go to it, and we weren't crazy about it. It was a little bloody, gory, but it was okay. We got through it. And so I said, now, after the bullfight, why don't we go for dinner? There was an authentic Spanish restaurant. We go into this restaurant, and we were pretty, it was pretty good, you remember?
It was delicious.
Yeah, and do you remember what happened next?
Yeah, and they had a mariachi band there too.
Wow.
Remember?
And the mariachi band was playing
With what?
with a whole procession.
Oh yeah, there was this procession. Everybody in the restaurant, the waiters, the waitresses, the manager, everybody came down in this big procession, and they were serving the table next to us. And they had a big platter, silver platter, and they opened up the platter, and on the platter were 2 huge balls.
And I say to the waiters, excuse me, I don't get it. What are these, is that delicacy? What are these 2 big balls? And he said,
Well, when the bull gets killed, they take off the balls, and it's served as a delicacy.
and I thought this was a little strange, and I'm not usually, as Carol knows, I'm not usually an adventurous eater, but I said, what, why not? Let's give it a shot. And so I told the server, we'll have the same thing as that table is getting, but we want the whole procession. We want it served exactly the same way. So,
The same exact way. They came, all the waiters and waitresses, and then the manager, and everybody came down, big, huge platter. They open up the platter, and there's these 2 little bowls on the plate.
and I don't get it. I said, we wanted the same thing. We paid for we're going to pay the same thing too. How come we got this whole platter with these 2 little balls? And the waiter always remember what he said.
Sometime the bull, he win.
Now, we tell you, if you like those stories, look forward to an upcoming open mic with David that David runs, because you'll hear our stories part 2. No, part 2. No, once enough. Anyway, so you saw the one time you heard all about our relationship. Carol and some other people have heard these stories about 47 times, but they get better each time, the 48. Anyway, we'd like to leave you with one final thought, and something we like to share with groups, and whenever we meet people and we wish them on their birthday, we like to wish you the same kind of thought. It's an Irish saying, and it's one of our favorite sayings, and it says the following. It says, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Thank you.
All right.